you guys know Psalm 20? You'll know it when I say it. Does anybody know it off the top of their head? The Lord is my shepherd. Shall not want. Kind of? Okay, we'll go through it. And everybody can do it afterwards. Maybe I'll give you another $1. Those dollars. Okay, so the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. That's a pasture. Look comfy, huh? Basically what he's saying is you can't lay next to quiet waters with the breeze flowing and birds chirping and be full of anxiety. So he's saying, God's going to take you to the pasture and let you lay down and relax. He's got, you're not going to get pooped on by a bird, you're not going to get stung by a bee, you're not going to have ants crawling up your nose. God's saying, come and chill out, okay? I have the blanket, I've got the lemonade, I've got the picnic basket. Just chill out. I got it. Okay, second part. He restores my soul. God recharges our batteries. Have you guys ever felt like if you've gone a couple days without praying and then you do, all of a sudden you're like, like back, full energy? Does anybody get that? Yeah, I get that. Like if you miss a couple days and you're like, man, life is so tough right now. And you pray and it's like, ooh. Okay, perspective. So God's like the battery recharger. And he's basically saying, I've got this. Rest. I got it. Okay, next one. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. I always used to kind of fly through this song. Like, I don't know. But think about this. God's reputation is at stake. Okay? And all of us in here, every believer in this room, God's reputation is at stake. So what he's taking you through and what he's working with you on, his reputation, not ours. Like, our reputation doesn't matter. His reputation. So he's not going to take you through something to make you look bad and have people go, God, he's such a jerk. You see what he's doing in their life? Do you think God would do that? No, hopefully not, right? And if you do, see us after service. We'll chat. So he's guiding us, okay? He's taking us through that path of righteousness. So he's making our lives complete. He's got us. All right, verse 4. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Okay, here's a little something about shadows. Shadow of a dog can't bite you, right? The shadow of a gun can't shoot you. The shadow of a boxer can't knock you out. Shadows can't do anything. So if we're going through the shadow of the valley of death, it's a shadow. There's not people with guns and knives, it's a shadow. And I think we forget that sometimes. You get so overwhelmed that you're in the shadow, you can't see anything because you're in the shadow. But it's just a shadow. A shadow can't do anything to ruin your life. It's a shadow. You just step into the light. And here's the other thing about shadows. The only way you have a shadow is if there's light shining around something. Okay? So, God, light. So God is shining through whatever, he's shining behind whatever problem you have, and he's casting a shadow. All you have to do is walk around that valley that God's already saying he's going to lead you through, and the light's right there. You ever thought about that, about shadows? I didn't think about it the other day. I was like, dude, shadows aren't even scary. They can be scary, but they can't do anything to you. Okay? Alright. Next one. Your rod and your staff comfort me. Okay, do you guys know what a rod and a staff are? You do?
They're like kind of like a cane.
Yeah.
Like a cane would.
Yeah. Okay, I did some research on this. It's super cool. Okay, so shepherds use rods and staffs. Rods are basically, that's a rod on the right. Staffs on left. Left. I can always tell. Rods are basically a couple different things. They can use them to throw, so they're a big stick. Like if shepherds have sheep, right? So if sheep aren't the smartest. If they're wandering off, the shepherd can throw the rod, scare the sheep, and the sheep comes back. Okay? Because he's like, oh man, what was that? So he's just like off wandering, going to eat berries. Berries are poisonous. And the shepherd's like, poisonous berry, sheep. So there's that. 2, yeah, it's true. Like, anybody who lives in this area has seen snakes, I'm assuming, right? Sometimes you have to go to a bush and like shake the thing the snakes get out. Well, if you want your sheep to relax and like chill out in their pasture, you don't want a bunch of snakes. So the shepherd can go and shake all the bushes with the rod. Okay, so the rod does protection. It also does discipline. A couple ways to do that. But have you guys heard of passing under the rod? It's in Ezekiel. It's kind of like a random thing, but there's a lot. Has anybody heard of that? Passing under the rod? When it says that God, you're going to pass under the rod and come into covenant. Okay, here's what this means. The shepherd, when sheep pass under his rod, he's counting them. And he's making sure that they're all healthy. So every time a sheep passes under that rod, he's actually going, okay, no cuts, no bruises, okay, you're in. Okay, oh, you need some salve for that thing. Okay, put them aside, we're going to heal this one. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, ooh, his hoof hurts. Okay, come aside, heal him. So the rod is basically God's way of saying, you're in, protected, you're in, protected, you're in, protected. You guys see it? You guys see the visual? Okay, and then the staff, it's got a crook on it so he can guide sheep. He can, if they fall, he can pull them up. It's a way where if a sheep's a little timid, he can sort of pull them in and have them walk with the group instead of going, it's not like Gong Show where they pull them off the stage. It's a little like, so he's got a rod for protection and discipline, and he's got a staff. So those two things together were his symbols of power, strength, and authority. Okay, so God's our shepherd. Power, strength, and authority. So we're already chilling in the pasture. There's no birds pooping on us. We're already recharged. Now we've got someone making sure that we're safe, we're taken care of. Okay, here's the next one. Okay, verse 5. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. So imagine walking into a restaurant. Everyone that's ever said anything mean to you, anyone, is standing outside, and they're screaming they want to kill you. Whoa, what? Yeah. You're trying to go eat dinner. You're like, I want to go eat dinner. And they won't let you in. Okay? So, what this is saying is God is preparing the table. So you're in the restaurant now. He's got all of his guards around the doors. He's got his own personal chef in case they're trying to poison you. He set the table. He's got people tasting food to make sure that it's not poisoned again. And then when you leave, he's got an armored car. Get home safe. But more than likely, when you leave, it's completely peaceful outside. Because God's taking care of it. Okay, so he prepared the table in front of all your enemies and said, hey, this one's mine. Leave him alone. And you come in, you have this huge feast, anointing with oil. A lot of times back in Jesus' day, when you would go, when you were a guest, they would put a chunk of oil on your forehead. And that was a sign basically of being one of the honored guests. And it would melt and it would let a pleasant scent. So there's kind of a two-part to that. Okay, so I know that I don't want to skip over this. Sorry, my mouth is dry. Call that lemonade, it made me thirsty. Okay, so next one, verse 6. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This is God's promise. He's got you on earth, and he's got you up there. So goodness and love will follow you here, and then you're going to dwell forever in the house of the Lord. So when life gives you lemons, Psalm 23, it's a real quick thing to go, whoop, perspective. Okay, God's got me, I'm protected, I'm safe, I'm calm, I'm okay here, I'm okay there. And it just sort of calms you down. Okay, so my challenge this week is to learn Psalm 23. It's not long. And I know that sometimes life seems really unfair. And after Sean talked about what we were going through last week, God has blessed us in some crazy ways this week. Crazy ways. Like my truck full of lemons is all of a sudden starting to feel a little more like lemonade, which is really, really cool. Okay, so I want to leave you with a few more.